Of the Dirty Town Faces by Cónal Creedon. Part 1, McKenna's Gold, read by Martina Carroll.
Did I ever tell you about McKenna's Gold? The best film I never saw. It was Pinko's birthday, so Pinko's mum gave Georgie the money for the lot of us to go to the flicks. Of course, the first thing Georgie did was to go and buy 20 consulate. We went down to the car park behind Roche's stores for a smoke. 4 each. They were gone in about a half an hour. If I get caught smoking, I'd be mobilised. Ted was worried. My dad says I can smoke when I can pay for 'em, said Georgie. There was a fella in school caught smoking by his mam, and she brought him home and sat him down and made him smoke 20 woodbines one after the other to make him sick like, said Jojo. And what happened? When he finished the last woodbine, his mam asked him what he had to say for himself. And what did he say? He took 20 major out of his back pocket, put one in his mouth and asked her for a light. I'm telling you, there'd be no laughing matter if I'm caught, said Ted. I don't know what's the problem with cigarettes anyhow, said Georgie. They're supposed to be bad for your health, like, stunt your growth. Stunt your growth? Ted freaked. I wants to play soccer for Man United like Roy Keane when I grows up. If you grows up. Don't mind him, Ted boy. You could always play in the midget league. The midget league? How small do you have to be to play in the midget league? Tell you the truth, Ted. I'd say you're a bit too tall for it as it is, said Georgie. What? Too tall for the midget league? Too small for the real league. Don't worry, Ted boy. I'm sure Man United field a midget team, and maybe Roy Keane will put in a good word for you. Do you think he would? Of course he would. My dad says that Roy Keane would bend over backwards for you, especially if you're from Cork, like. How do you think Dennis Irwin got his start? Well, that's it, said Ted. I'm not smoking no more. Well, what if you start growing again? I mean, there's only so much Roy Keane can do for you. A look of worry came over Ted's face. Don't mind him, Ted boy, said Jojo. If you look at John Wayne, he's no midget and he smokes. You could hear Ted's brain ticking over. Maybe we should head over along now, said Pinko. We'll miss the cartoons. Plenty of time, Pinko boy. Might be Bugs Bunny or someone, and we haven't even got our sweet yet. Right, said Georgie. We'll go, but first we have to get another packet of fags for inside. We loaded up with sweets in the Cuban house. 5 packets of Perry, 10 to a penny blackjacks, 8pence worth of acid drops, a big bottle of Tanora and another 20 consulate. Come on, will ye? Shouted Pinko. The Savoy wasn't just a picture house. It was a world of its own. 5 steps and glass doors shielding us from reality and the rain. Inside, 2 kiosks flanking a sweeping marble staircase stretching the width of the building. It climbed all the way to the gods, branching off at different levels as it rose. Inside was like a fairy palace, all golds and reds and carpeted wall to wall. Velvet flip-up seats in rows, sloping from ceiling to screen, scattered with feeder tunnels that led out to the marble staircase. With Fred Bridgman rising up out of the pit like the Wizard of Oz on his hydraulic organ, leading the Legion of the Lost, and the lungs of 2,000 kids would raise the rafters that day at the Saturday matinee. Anyway, we must have been standing outside in the rain for a full quarter of an hour. The queue was huge, stretching all the way as far back as the gas company. Somewhere at the back the chanting began. Honka, 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 honka. And it got louder and louder, everyone jumping up and down and chanting, honka, 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 honka. And then he appeared. Out onto the steps in his red cap and coat, with more gold brocade trimmings and buttons than a Russian general. He was a small old man, and like his uniform, his skin was about 3 sizes too big for him. And there it was, stuck in the middle of his face, the biggest honker I'd ever seen in me life. Honker! 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 He flipped the cinema sign to open. Up went the roar. Now it was time. Heave! A surge towards the door. Get back, ye little Scots! Honker roared, flaking wildly with his flash lamp. Heave! Get back, ye little Scots! Heave! That's when I noticed a look come over Georgie's face. His lips were moving like he was saying his prayers or counting or something. Lads, I think we've a problem. Georgie was under pressure. Heave! Get back, ye little Scots! Heave! It's the money, lads. We haven't enough for money. How do you mean not enough, said Ted. We spent too much. Probably the fags. The money! Gone! Pinko sobbed. Lads, come on. All out of cute till we sort this out. Oh, we're going to miss the cartoons. Pinko was almost crying. No one go missing nothing, Pinko. What's the hassle? Ted was shifty. We spent too much money. We spent too much? You spent too much, Georgie boy, Ted snarled. Look, it don't matter who spent what. The money's gone. But the picture is starting in a minute and it's my birthday. Pinko sobbed. Look, lads, it's as simple as this, Georgie explained. I haven't enough to pay for the lot of us. Only 3 can get in. But it's my birthday. Pinko was crying. Would you ever shut up, Pinko? La, the best we can do is for the 3 of us to go in and the other 2 go down Printworks Lane and I'll see if I can open the fire doors to let you in. Do you think that'll work, Georgie? Sure, all we can do is give it a try. It didn't sound like a great plan, but it was a plan and it was all we had to cling to. OK, I'm looking for 2 volunteers. Ted and Jojo stepped out. Georgie gave them their colour of sweets and 4 consolat each. Just in case, he said. Now you'll have to wait for a while. I won't open the door till the trailer's on and it's dark inside, just to make sure the honker is out of the way, like. And when I do open the door, follow me back to the seats and for God's sake be quiet. Ted and Jojo headed off around the side of the building towards the fire escape. Georgie, Pinko and myself barged our way back onto the top of the queue. Heave! Get back, ye little Scots! Heave! Ted and Jojo were halfway through their second fag, sitting in the doorway on Printworks Lane, listening to the laughter from the Full House matinee. Must be the cartoon, said Ted. Do you think they've forgotten about us? Never. I'd say Honker's up by the toilets and they're just waiting for him to go away. I hope so. Oh, God, look who's coming, said Jojo. And there, turning the corner, Nicky Flynn and Danker from Dominic Street. Ted melted into the doorway, but too late. They'd already been lamped. This is all we need, whispered Jojo. Hey, Ted, give us a drag. Nicky Flynn pointed to the fag. There you are, said Jojo. Nicky reached for the butt and took a pull. So are you up to? Asks Nicky. We're waiting for Georgie, says Ted. Georgie? Yes, says Ted. He's going to open this door and leave us into the flicks. The words were out of his mouth before he knew it. Jojo's eyes darted. He couldn't believe Ted could be so thick. Into the flicks, Nicky repeated. Yeah, well, it's a sort of cowboy one. The lads are inside already, said Ted. And they're opening this door for you. Well, they might like, says Ted. Danker, Nicky barked. Run around to Pop Black and tell the lads we're going to the pictures. Hurry, Danker, hurry, will ya? There was no point protesting. The word was out. Jojo could do nothing but watch as Danker limped down the lane and disappeared around the corner in the direction of the pool hall. Inside, the Savoy was mad. 2,000 wild kids in control. Raids on the ice cream lady under cover of dark. Scuffles between rival gangs. Popcorn and chewed chewing gum thick in the air. Honker charging up and down the aisle, shining his torch, dazzling faces, failing miserably to keep a lid on the whole thing. Right, said Georgie. You stay here, Pinko, and mind the coats, and we'll go down and let the lads in. Georgie handed Pinko the bottle of Tanora. And don't drink it all, OK? We made our way down the centre aisle, across in front of the screen and through the door that led to the toilets. Ladies to the right, gents to the left, and there at the end of the hall, the fire exit out onto Printworks Lane. You keep an eye out for Honker, Georgie ordered. Oi, lads! You out there? Ted, Jojo, are you out there? It's me, Georgie, he shouted in a whisper through the slit in the door. Of course we're here. What kept ya? So is Nicky Flynn from Dominic Street. Ted's voice was muffled by the door. Who? Georgie strained. Nicky Flynn? Dominic Street? Came another muffled voice. Who? Georgie raised his voice. That's when I noticed the glow from Honker's torch making its way down the centre aisle. Shh, take it easy, Georgie, says I. I think I see Honker's flashlight and it looks like it's coming this way. Nicky Flynn from Dominic Street? The voice from the far side of the door was garbled. Now, open the door, will ye? What are they saying, Pluto? I don't know what they're saying, but open the door, will ya? Honker's coming, Honker's coming. And just a split second before Georgie gets his hand to the spring lock, the door into the picture house opens. There stood Honker, his eyes beady from the dark flash lamp in his hand. Oi, what's going on here, ye scuts? Nothing, sir. Georgie stood back. A few thumps could be heard from the far side of the door. Open the door, will ye? Funny, but it sounded like Nicky Flynn from Dominic Street. Myself and Georgie just looked at each other as if to say, what the hell is Nicky Flynn doing out there? What's going on here, ye scuts? I think there's somebody at the door, sir. At that door? Here, step back out of that. Let me see there. Honker slipped the torch under his arm and pushed down on the lock. The door sprung open, out onto the dazzling brightness of Printworks Lane. And there stood Jojo and Ted. As our eyes adjusted to the light, gradually other faces came into focus. In fact, it looked like every small dirty face from the north side was standing there on Printworks Lane. And for a split second, total silence. Nobody moved, like rabbits caught in the dazzling headlights of Honker's buttons. They just stood there. Honker stretched out his arms in the doorway. What's going on here, ye scuts? But then from nowhere came the cry, remember 1916, charge! And they did. It was like the Sioux at the Battle of the Little Bighorn. Honker was General Custer, slashing and hacking with his flash lamp, trying to hold his ground against wave after wave of dirty faces, his arms lashing wildly, but he was outmanoeuvred, outnumbered. He spiraled as he was pushed nose first against the wall. I'll remember your faces, ye scuts. You're all bared, ye scuts. Honker jammed between the wall and the door, shouting useless threats. Ted grabbed the hat from Honker's head and we just scattered to the safety of the picture house and darkness. We spent the rest of the afternoon throwing Honker's hat from row to row in the cinema, driving him demented. Give me back that hat, ye scuts! So that was it. McKenna's Gold. McKenna's Gold. The best film I never saw.
McKenna's Gold was read by Martina Carroll, and you can hear part 2 of The Adventures of Dirty Town Faces by Cónal Creedon at the same time next Sunday. Fiction 15 is produced in our Cork studios by Aidan Stanley.